I started out like everybody else in the 80s as, you know, with charity, if you like. You know, the idea, people are dying needlessly, put your hand in your pocket. But of course, it's not so simple. It's much more complicated. And so I got the sense over the years that there was a structural aspect to this poverty. And when Jamie Drummond called me and said, look, let me talk you through debt cancellation. Let me talk you through how, for all the money we're sending to Africa, let me tell you they're sending more back to us. And I'm going, yeah, come on. I'm like the sophomore psychology student, you know. I'm like, yeah, come on. And as I went through the numbers, that sort of whetted my appetite to go even deeper into it. And yeah, there began a journey that has really turned a lot of things upside down in my life, especially my band's life. And you still believe in God, even though you've been through all these terrible things? Well, I'm sure of one thing, God believes in you. First of all, George Bush didn't want to see me, and didn't know about them. Certainly didn't want to see me. There was a friend of Bill Clinton. What would I want to see him for? So we went to see Paul O'Neill, who also didn't want to see us, by the way. And then when we walked in, he said, how long have you ever spent in Africa? And I said, well, I spent a long time. Have you ever worked there? I said, no. He says, well, I've worked there. He said, I worked at Alcoa there. And if you think we're going to increase aid to Africa while I'm sitting in this chair, you're out of your mind. And I said, but hold on a second. He said, corruption. Just saying, it's quite a 60s kind of a setup if you think about it. It's like some sort of Jimi Hendrix album sleeve. I mean, it's just, they just can't help but be cool. And beautiful music, and just can't get over. Check out the dub. It really is like a Jimi Hendrix album. And I said, but if we could show you where there are countries where they're tackling corruption, where there's new leaders coming through, like President Kikwete here in Tanzania, would you support them? And he said, well, show me them. And that began our trip, where we went to Africa together, the odd couple, they called it. And it was funny because we did learn from them, because we would choose an AIDS clinic in the morning, but they would go and see a Ford motor plant.
Or the stock exchange.
Or the stock exchange. And we'd be like, you guys are so far off. You know, you don't get it. And then we started to realize, actually, the Africans really were dignified by this emphasis that a Republican administration had on trade. And that's not something I would have thought of, actually.
And that's exactly what Kikwete and his advisors have been asking us for. Infrastructure, agriculture, trade, investment. That's what they want. Because then they'll be able to earn the money to pay for the antiretrovirals, the malaria bed nets. For the time being, we have to do that until we can help them kickstart their economies and they can pay for itself. And that's what everyone wants, is for them to be able to do it themselves.
You know, you see all these people out on the street and people can laugh, make poverty history t-shirts. What will they ever change? They've changed an awful lot. We worked on the Drop the Debt campaign. $72 billion has been cancelled. Well, where did the money go? Well, you're in Tanzania. You know, an extra 3 million kids are going to school. Yeah, but how are the schools? Well, they're not quite there yet. But, you know, there's less people to a desk and there's a few more bugs. But actually, there's not enough teachers. Next problem. But it's, I do think it's two steps forward, despite the one step back. Sure.